One of our favorite sponsors is back with us, Sunset Lake CBD.
Yeah.
If you're looking for CBD that actually does what CBD is supposed to do, look no further than our friends over at Sunset Lake.
Let me break it down.
Break it down, Mel.
They're sustainably farmed, meaning they avoid pesticides and use sustainable farming practices to preserve the land for future generations. 1. 2, farm to table. They ship the CBD products straight from their door in Vermont directly to your door wherever you're at.
Now that's cool.
And third party tested. They test everything with a third party to ensure quality, dosage, and safety.
You got to go over and check out sunsetlakecbd.com. They have so many products. Break it down for them, Apple.
Well, they've got some new stuff going on. Like they always had pre-rolls, but now they got really cool packaging for it. And you can get CBD pre-roll flights of all their flavors. You can get the heavy hitter flight that also throws in some of their Keef blunts. They have a new CBD recovery body lotion.
I'm excited about that.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the other?
The other one with arnica.
The extra strength muscle rub, 3,000 milligram with 5% lidocaine.
So look,
Oh, yeah,
if you're
lidocaine.
sore, this is the stuff you want to rub on your body to make those aches and pains go away. They even have CBD infused coffee, so you can have coffee without the little jitter that you get from caffeine, and you have it in the morning and you start your day off right. Your body feels lubricated. You're going to sleep good.
Yeah, and also they have, if you kind of forget to reorder, they've got subscriptions.
And they're giving the No Simple Road family 20% off.
20% off.
Put
with
in the promo code NSR20 when you're checking out at sunsetlakecbd.com. You're going to get 20% off your entire order.
NSR20.
And don't forget those cute little gummy bears.
That's right. sunsetlakecbd.com, one of our favorite sponsors, is back. Have you ever listened to the Mother Hips?
Out of a rainbow?
That you got at Electric Fish Lights.
You can.
You will.
You should.
You must.
Go to electricfishlights.com and check out the wonderful, magical, and mystical creations that Electric Fish Lights is putting together just for you.
They are using IQ technology.
That stands for interlocking quadrilaterals. And it's a system of 30 interlocking pieces that can be configured into 15 different shapes. And when you put those shapes together, the combinations are endless. You could make a rainbow. You could make a butterfly. You could make a dancing bear. You could make a rose, a monkey. I don't know. You are the one that has to figure that out.
That's
and
right.
all the lights come with a 12-year energy efficient, safe to leave on bulb, a hardware kit to hang the light, a 12-foot cord, all this awesome stuff, and you can upgrade to a color changing bulb or a Bluetooth bulb. So what you do is you go to electricfishlights.com, you tell them what you want them to build for you, they put it all together, they build it, they send it to you, and they're going to give you 10% off when you put in the promo code
10% off.
NSR when you check out. So take care of your lighting in your house. Don't just have boring fucking lights. You need to have something dope because you're dope. So go to electricfishlights.com. Yeah, we're a podcast. And yeah, we have sponsors, but you know what? We have a sponsor that gives you a discount on cannabis.
What?
Premium cannabis.
What kind of place gives us a discount on cannabis?
Apple, help us out.
That would be Define Premium Cannabis.
What?
We have 2 locations up here in the Portland area,
Two.
in Hillsboro and one in Forest Grove. And if you come in and visit us at either location, you make sure to tell us that you are a listener.
Yeah, man,
of the
don't go in there and blow it.
Yeah, come in and announce you're a listener of the show. We will take good care of you.
Apple will
and
give you a hug.
will get 10% off your purchase, and you'll get a free T-shirt the first
10%
time.
off
Yeah, man,
of
you're going to get
cannabis?
hand-trimmed premium cannabis. You're going to get tinctures, balms, bath bombs, fucking
Bath bombs, salts,
all kinds
all
of
kinds
fun
of stuff
shit.
for your bath, all kinds of stuff for your skin. Then we have your smokables, your dabbables, your vapables. We have all of it.
What's your favorite strain that's happening right now?
Favorite strain right now that's in the case is Glacier Berries from Virgin Leaf Cannabis in Bend.
Wow. What's the
Yes.
percentage?
It's right under 25, and it is GMO cookies crossed with Sherb Crasher.
Jesus,
And
listen to this
It's
guy.
like a fruity
That's awesome.
GMO. It's delicious.
So listen, you just heard that, right? That's the guy that's buying the weed at this place. So
and that's the kind of help you're going to get when you go in.
Yeah. And if you didn't know what GMO cookies or whatever that is, he'll explain it to you for like 45 minutes.
Yeah. It gets confusing. There's new stuff all the time. So if you have like an old favorite or like, I like Blue Dream, but we don't have that, I can tell you what the crosses are we do have with Blue Dream.
Wow. Check that out.
That's what we do. We take our time to help you take care of yourself.
Yeah. Go in there, tell them you're part of the family, get your 10% off, get your free t-shirt, and take care of your head. I saw all these people at the Peach Fest in a crowd, this huge crowd. It was gigantic. And they were cheering. They were standing in water. It was so cool. But you know what?
What?
I saw so many people with the same fucking t-shirts they wore last year when they were at concerts. Or not last year. Year before. 2 years. You guys,
2 years.
go to shoptourbus.com. Hook up your wardrobe.
Get
Because
that
we're
fresh
going back
tee.
to shows, man. You
Yeah,
got to
we are.
look good. You got to just...
And these shirts are dope. They're not just your regular run-of-the-mill, just, a Steely or this or that. They're kind of cryptic. They have the song lyrics all weaved into this awesome design that they came up with. And they take this, guess what they do?
What do?
They throw it in a one-of-a-kind box that
Actually,
they put
they
all this
roll it
intention.
They roll it.
beautifully.
They roll. Yeah, you're right. They don't throw it in. They roll it very nicely with
Very intentionally
with
put
twine,
together.
and you get all kinds of goodies. You're gonna get candies, gums. You're
And-
gonna get action figures. You don't know what you're gonna get. Each box is just full of little doodads to make you smile and make you happy.
And check this out. Every box has a one-of-a-kind, hand-designed Grateful Dead lyric on the inside, and some of you that order are going to get a Miracle Grateful Dead bootleg cassette tape in your order. So go to shoptourbus.com or go check out at shoptourbus on Instagram. And when you check out, put in the promo code No Simple Road. You're going to get free shipping because you're part of our family, and you're going to look dope when somebody sees you on a stream at a festival, or you do that like photo bomb in somebody's picture at a show, and you're gonna have your cool Grateful Dead inspired Shop Tour Bus t-shirt or hat or hoodie if you're somewhere cool, and you're gonna feel good. So go to shoptourbus.com, check it out.
Hey everyone, Chris Pandolfi from the infamous String Dusters here to let you know that my podcast, Inside the Musician's Brain, is back on the airwaves for season 4, which means it's time once again to get deep with influential musicians from all across the musical landscape to really understand and translate the lessons of success, failure, inspiration, and hard work that are behind the music and the artists that we love. My guests this season include Rachel Price from Lake Street Dives, Sam Bush, Chris Wood, Chris Funk from The Decemberists, Lindsay Liu, MC Taylor from His Golden Messenger, and more. Check us out, and thanks for listening.
We're so excited to tell you a bit about today's sponsor, Music Masters Collective. They are a nonprofit organization that produces unique music events, providing opportunities for fans and artists to meet and collaborate in an inspired and creative atmosphere.
Music Masters Collective events give you the opportunity to learn from world-class musicians like Otil Burbridge, Steve Earle, Richard Thompson, former members of the band, the Milk Carton Kids, Nikki Glaspie, the Fab Four, and Sean Colvin, and so many more.
At an event like the Milk Carton Kids Sad Song Summer Camp happening this July, you can expect immersive classes, evenings of entertainment, excellent food, and a space for a lucky group of folks to learn, co-write, workshop, and perform with like-minded peers, all with the guidance of Kenneth Pattengale, Joey Ryan, and some of their favorite songwriters. This all-inclusive week in the Catskill Mountains of upstate New York is guaranteed to be magical. Scholarships are available and spots are extremely limited, so visit www.sadsongsummercamp.com/simple to learn more. That's www.sadsongsummercamp.com/simple. Check it out.
No simple road. No simple road. No simple road. No simple road.
You're coming to Oregon for 2 dates.
I am.
You are. Well, I guess you're in Oregon, aren't you? All the time.
for
For a lot of
2
dates,
dates and
most
many
dates.
more.
Hey now, No Simple Road family, what's up? We're
Whoa.
back.
You
What?
just started just like that?
I did.
That's what happened. That's
You
know
gotta-
how
you gotta
do-
stay on your
you know
toes
how
in
you
here,
do.
Mel. That's
Actually, I got to stay on my button here while we record. If I was on my toes, my mic wouldn't reach.
We could
Okay.
adjust it if you
welcome
wanted to
back,
tiptoe
everybody.
it.
That's
Here we
true.
are.
Okay, fine.
These are adjustable. You want to tiptoe it?
Yeah.
You know how we
I
are.
do.
We're literal
I do.
around here.
We're so literal.
Yep.
Everything we say is perfectly literal.
And we're never sarcastic.
Never.
I'm glad you guys are back. I really am. This week is really exciting as we have a member of the Mother Hips,
Woohoo!
the one and only Greg. Loiacono.
Yay!
And boy, oh boy.
What a great conversation that was. It was so invigorating and fun. And I just love that he said that he likes to walk with his wife, that it's healing during the pandemic. And now that we're coming out of it, you guys these like few episodes are pandemic, right?
Pandemic-ish.
Pandemic-ish. But now that we're
Pandemic-y.
coming out, it's kind of nice to hear all of that.
You know, I was thinking last night as I was drifting off into slumberland, I was thinking about doing interviews all through 2020 and how in the future, because this stuff lives on the internet forever, right? It doesn't go anywhere. It doesn't get deleted over time. Like in the future, that's a time capsule. We created a digital time capsule of the musical space of the jam community during
Yes,
the
we did.
pandemic without even meaning to.
No, we
That's
didn't
big.
need to. That's huge.
Yeah. We created an organic timeline kind of for us. It's helped us keep track of what we've done because we do that all. I think everybody does that. Remember last year when we went to that concert?
I said it in the
and it's
commercials.
like-
Yeah, when you walked into that concert last year, no, you didn't. You didn't walk into any fucking concert last year. None of us did.
No,
But
we didn't.
you know what? Mother Hips are going back on tour. Greg's going
Heck
back on
yeah.
tour. I mean, Mother Hips are re-releasing every one of their, was it 30 albums?
All on
30th
vinyl.
anniversary.
All on vinyl throughout this year. Like there's moving and shaking happening.
There's a lot.
It's a hopeful time right now.
It does feel like
feels good, man. I have to say it feels
It does
good.
not feel stagnant. It feels very motion driven.
And we're recording today on the 4th of July,
Happy birthday, Sydney.
Happy birthday,
we
Sydney.
love you, baby.
our daughter's birthday.
She never listens to the show, but if she ever does, she'll listen and she'll hear us. Saying
And I
happy
want to
birthday.
say, have a moment of silence for my dad. Today is my dad's
Yeah.
birthday, and
Happy
he
birthday,
passed away
Grandpa.
at the end of 2019. And this is the
December
second
28th.
birthday without him around, and just give him a moment of silence here. That one's for you, Pop.
Thanks for
I
doing
love
that.
you and I
Love you,
miss you.
Jerry.
Yep. Miss you.
So yeah, not to bring down the mood.
No.
No,
Dad,
this is
Dad
a-
wouldn't want the mood to come down at all.
And then this is an incredible weekend like that, celebrating your dad, celebrating Sydney, celebrating the birthday of America.
Yeah.
I mean, what better day than Independence Day for all of us to be running around without our masks on? And I personally, and well, all three of us have been enjoying watching some of the streams posted
last night from
the
Peach
Peach
Fest.
Festival. It just
Thanks for putting that on, Apple.
It's
That
so
was
amazing
awesome.
to see everybody up there smiling, and they're just coming out the gate like full throttle.
You know, all through 2020, I was saying that it was difficult for me to watch streams, and
Now it's not.
I didn't like it. And yesterday, I was like, I like it. I like watching this.
Because
This
there's
is fun.
hope.
And well, and it's a stream now. I mean, the streams through 2020. I mean, bless everybody that put music out there. Trey killing it at the Beacon and everything, but there was no crowd to just hear
Yeah,
the
it's
simple crowd, to see them feeding off each other, to hear the hoot and hollers at the end of a guitar solo for that split second when there's quietness and everybody's just like, yeah.
Sharing that moment with anybody is so important to the whole experience of the song, of the feel of it. Like, think about this, and I'm sure there's people that would love this, but like if you were at the Beacon with Trey and that's it, nobody else, just you and
Oh,
him,
that'd be sick.
it'd be dope. But then you'd go home and you'd be like, no, you should, well,
That's cool.
I mean, of course, like I'm saying, of course it'd be a great experience, but like you're the only one. So what?
Right.
It's that
It's not the same
energy.
as a congregation.
Yeah, no,
you gotta
that-
share.
The live music experience is a participatory event between the band, the crowd, and whatever
And the
third,
venue.
and whatever third consciousness is created by the contact of those two things.
Yeah.
The Beacon shows, Beacon Jams, were some of the best shows I've seen in a very long time. But we saw half the show. Do you get what I'm saying? Like,
It's like a warm up.
well, not even that. It's like meeting a couple and you're only meeting one of the people in the couple. Like,
Kind of 2-dimensional.
yeah,
You don't get the whole.
it's not the whole cup of tea, man. It's changed. And seeing the Peach, it just feels so good to see the family back out and to see the smiles on the faces of the musicians and to hear like Les Claypool, Oysterhead, when they played, they came out on stage, they started playing for a second and then they kind of took it down a little bit, and Les was like, the last time I stood in front of this many people, I was with these two guys, because the last show that Oysterhead or Les played was
7
with
years.
Oysterhead down in San Francisco like 2 days before the pandemic started.
dang.
So he was like, the last time I was on stage in front of this many people was with these guys. And so now this is the first time since then.
Aw.
And he was like, I'm not going to open a can of worms, but I just want to say that I am really grateful to be here, to be with all of you people. You don't realize what you have until it's taken away from you. And let's do this.
Amen, man. That is the truth. You don't realize what you have until it's taken away. And it's hard to think that, because you're like, oh, I am grateful and I'm grateful too. But it doesn't matter if you're grateful or not. The feeling of something being gone is nothing that you can understand until it is gone.
And, we haven't even literally, we have not been to any live music of any significance since, was it March of 2020? Humphreys
February?
McGee.
Was it the end of February?
Yeah, it was February.
28th.
Okay.
Because me and Ryder went to Tool March 11th.
Okay.
Yeah,
It was the
February
end of
28th.
February.
So it was Humphreys McGee and Andy Frasco at the Crystal Ballroom here was our last show. So, reason I say that, on July 20th, No Simple Road is going to Horning's Hideout to the Northwest String Summit Pick and Park, or Park and Pick, which it's a pod show now. It's not a drive-in thing. And we're going to see Yonder Mountain String Band and the infamous String Dusters. Now, pay attention.
Pay attention, everybody.
On the
You Portlanders.
11th of July, we're interviewing Chris Pandolfi. And in that interview with Chris, somewhere in
Yeah,
the
you
interview.
can't tell him where.
Yeah. Somewhere in the interview, there is going to be a question that I ask.
Little Easter egg.
An Easter egg. So you have to listen to the interview or the conversation and pay attention, and you will hear the Easter egg. Now, there's going to be a contest. I'm going to put a post on Instagram announcing the contest, and
You have to listen to the show in
Yeah,
order
this
to
is-
find out what the little Easter egg is. And when you find out, you are going to email nosimpleroad@gmail.com. And however many we get, we are going to randomly assign them numbers, pick one out of a hat. And,
2.
Oh, yeah, that's right, 2. And you get to come with us to our little pod for that first show back.
We are giving away 2 add-on pod add-on tickets for our pod. So the contest is come along with No Simple Road to the Northwest String Summit Pick and Park. And the way that you win those tickets is by listening to our interview with Chris Pandolfi that will be released on, I think it's the 13th. So you'll have like 4 or 5 days to get through the episode and send us the answer in the email what the Easter egg is.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, not on
unfortunately,
Instagram.
you have to be kind of around here or willing to travel. So,
Yeah. Well, this
Pacific
is for our
Northwesters, you know, maybe Seattle, wherever.
our Eugene people,
Yeah,
our
Eugene.
Seattle folks, our Portland.
That's right. So
fam.
pay attention, listen up. We thought it would be super fun, and we're excited about this.
I'm really excited. Talking to the promoters and throwing around ideas, and this was actually their idea. I was just wanted to give away a pod.
But yeah, come with us to our first show
Yeah,
back.
it's
That's
boogie
gonna
in our
be
pod.
Amazing.
Just be ready. Shit's gonna get weird,
Wow.
but it's on.
That's true.
It's gonna be a good night. Yeah, so that's happening, and then the following week we're going to see Green Sky Bluegrass, same venue, and that's gonna be amazing, incredible, and wonderful. I'm really stoked that like our first shows back are on that hallowed ground. of
Yeah, they're
Morning's
in our
Oh, yeah.
backyard.
and
yeah.
20 minutes away from our house, and just I'm going to be honest
Oh, you're
for a
lying
second.
for
I've been lying
this
up
whole
until this
time?
point, but
Oh,
now
okay.
I'm going to be honest.
4 years of lies.
Here it is.
Comes the truth.
Usually, when
Uh-oh.
people say I'm going to be honest, they're lying.
I'm not lying.
That
just
is,
pay
yeah.
attention.
Or they're lying all the rest of the
That's
times,
true.
and this is the first
So-
time
I've
they're
been
being
full-
honest.
I have to tell all you, I've been full of shit. I'm really not into the Grateful Dead or Fish. I only like
Boy bands.
Latvian
Oh.
circus music.
BTS.
No, Latvian circus music and oompa bands.
You know you like K-pop.
I
Come
do
on.
like
K-pop is
Blackpink.
rad.
Me and Scott Metzger into Blackpink when we run. Seeing the Peach, going to the grocery store, going to the gas station, going out of the house on a walk with no mask, seeing everybody at the Peach with just doing their thing feels really good. And it's exciting to talk about and have stuff on the books right now.
So what are you being honest about?
I'm getting there. Hang, stick with me. But
This is all this bullshit still.
Okay, that's
He's
still
getting to the
bullshit.
honest
this is
part.
all bullshit. But through 2020, there was so many fucking disappointments that happened, one after another, and they got bigger as they went. And I have a little bit of PTSD from it.
I think a lot of people do.
That's what I'm being honest about. Like
Oh.
I have a little bit of like, I'm gun shy. I'm in the back of my mind. I'm still thinking that everything's going to get canceled again, and I'm going to be disappointed. In the back
See,
of my head.
that's not what I have PTSD about. Like, I don't care about the cancellation of potential. It's like the interaction with people.
Oh, the social part
yeah,
of
the
it.
social aspect of it is kind of where have a little trepidation.
Well, that's good that our first thing back is a pod,
Yeah.
because then you're
Yeah.
kind of.
I mean, I'm around people all the time, so it's not like I'm awkward with people, but like in that setting, you know.
It's like riding a bike.
I know.
It's kind of weird. Well, I got a little like today we're going to see just a little tribute band thing out of Edgefield and stuff. And I'm a little nervous about it for no fucking reason whatsoever. Then we haven't done it in a year and a
Yeah.
half.
Really?
It's kind of like I don't know if I still know how to ride the bike. Like I don't know if I still know how to have fun. You know, it's dumb.
It's, you know what it is? It's thoughts.
It's just
It's
like
our
anxiety,
thoughts,
kind of like, well, and the fear of what we've gone through in a year and a half of the beady eyes, scared people behind masks.
Yeah.
Masks are off now. It still kind of feels weird not to have it.
I'll tell you
kind of
what,
like looking
it
around,
feels
like, am I
very
being
weird.
judged? Who's looking at me?
Yes, at
Who-
work there's a mix of people that are still wearing their masks and a mix of people that aren't. And every time I come out of the back and go into the front where the store is, I feel like, oh my God, I have
doing
to
something
go
wrong.
put my mask
Yeah.
on. And I'm trying to like
Reprogram.
reprogram my reaction, but it still happens. And so that's why I mentioned my part of PTSD, because at the shows, I love running around and like being.
You are a butterfly.
Yeah, being hugged and hugging and doing and so like I just anticipate. That's what it is. It's the anxiety of anticipation.
Well,
That's-
if the Peach is any indicator of what is,
If you guys don't know what he's talking about, it's the Peach Fest.
they know. If the Peach
Not
is
everybody knows.
any indicator of how things are, it's just.
Well, that's
gonna be
back
good.
east.
It's
And back east and west coast have been completely different during this whole time.
You know what? That's something too, man. Like for all of our East Coast, Southern, Midwestern listeners, Oregon just opened up on
Wednesday.
June 30th.
Yeah.
Yeah. It like all the COVID restrictions and all that have been in place here up until then.
Yeah,
so
limited
this is all new for
capacity.
us. So all the stuff that you guys have gone through, a month ago or whatever, we're now just barely going through all of it. So it's
East Coast is always ahead, though. They really are with their everything, time, fashion.
Well, and even with COVID,
music,
it seemed to
COVID.
hit there
It hit
first,
there first,
and
yeah.
came across the
Yep.
country.
in a wave of shittiness.
But yeah, so we're just we're on our training wheels right now of getting back to, and I'm excited about today's little tribute at Edgefield to kind of get us like in boogie motion, and then we have a special guest visiting from back east, and so super excited.
we have a
beautiful-
listener flying in.
We have a listener flying in. It's Sid's birthday. We're gonna see a show. We're recording our intro. I mean, today's a really good day.
It is.
everybody.
It's a good day. And, it's funny, man, like taking all the things into consideration that have gone down and like what everybody's been through and all of that. I just want to hold on to that feeling of hopefulness and carry that through and let that anxiety and social awkwardness and all the shit that's going on in our heads, just let that kind of fall to the wayside, because we really are creators of our reality, and thought creates it. And I just want to be a good steward of my brain and use my talents for good and not ill. You know what I'm saying? I get stuck with that sometimes. Like when I start going down the rabbit hole with negative thoughts or being anxious about something, I'm like, fuck, not only am I feeling like shit right now, but I'm co-creating my reality in this funk. You get what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, I know.
So-
I'm married to you, babe. Your
No,
realization is not.
she never
brand
notices
new.
your funk or anything.
No. It's tough, man.
Being on the other side of your wall, like, you're a person, you've got your own thing that you're dealing with through the pandemic, your own like
Stuff.
fears, anxieties, all that stuff, highs, lows, all that. And it's just been a challenge for everybody in every kind of a way, and I am grateful, one, that I wasn't as challenged as you. And on my second part is I'm grateful that I wasn't, so that I could be there for you.
Me too.
Because you're my rock, and it was really hard at times to be able to still be like kind of upbeat coming into the house. Like you would say, like, you're like in the house, you feel the energy of the house. Well, we're coming into the house, so we feel the energy of the house too, especially if you are having a hard day or whatever. It was challenging,
I'm really grateful to you guys, man. I'm really happy to be able to talk about all of this in hindsight now. That even feels good. Like, remember when?
Remember a week ago?
Remember? I remember.
Yeah, I remember. No, it does. It feels good to be able to talk about it in hindsight.
Well, I mean, we've definitely been very vocal about it.
But we were still in it.
Yes.
And I don't feel like that's the case right now. Like, it's not like that. Not like that at all.
Well, I mean, there is still stuff going on, the Delta variant, and there's still, like the mask mandate is lifted, but, people without their vaccines are supposed to wear their masks and stuff like that. So there's still stuff.
Oh yeah, we're
There's
not
remnants.
all the way.
No, we're not out of the woods yet.
Yeah.
but it's looking promising.
It does.
And
It does.
fucking feels good.
Looks
man.
and feels promising. Is
So
right.
happy.
I just like that the
Independence Day.
fact of being at work
Yes.
and seeing people's faces, like regularly, like your job too. We have regulars that we've seen for the last year and a half and have not seen their freaking bottom of their face. Haven't seen a smile and everything. Now to see them coming in, everybody's smiling and more talkative. And
Yeah, somebody's
it's
like,
just,
I forgot what your face looked like.
yeah,
now.
yeah. I forgot what half the people I deal with all the time. Didn't remember what couple of employees that keep masked up forgot what their freaking faces looked like.
You'd like, can you put your hand over your mouth for a minute? Oh, hey, what's up,
Oh,
Tim?
you. Yeah, it's like, holy crap, everybody does have a bottom of their face.
I took Darwin for a walk really early this morning, and there was a bunch of people out because it was really nice. And every single person that I saw made eye contact and made it a point to smile and wave.
Aww.
Like, people want that connection. They're hungry to see smiles and feel that, whether you realize it or not. At the end of every episode of No Simple Road, we always say smile at a stranger. And there's a reason for that. Like, biochemically, when you smile at someone and they see it, it has a chemical reaction in that recipient's brain, and it releases the happy juice in your head, whether you're conscious of it or not. And so if you can go around and spread a little of that out into the world, that's fucking really cool, man. And it feels like, at least this morning, it felt like everybody's hungry for that. Like, wants to see those smiles and see the eyes shining and like the waves. It just feels really cool, man. And I'm really stoked that Greg and the Mother Hips are leading the way in No Simple Road with us out of this. Like, this episode is coming out today. It's a perfect example of the time capsule that we were talking about and all that. Mel?
Yes.
You want to go do your thing real quick?
What thing?
Your week?
Oh, you wanted me to
You gotta
leave?
go do it. Like, yeah,
whoa, what do I got to do?
No, sing your song.
Mel's going to go do some laundry really quick, and we'll be back in a while.
La 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 la. No,
That was
my week has been actually fantastic. I'm feeling good. My body feels good. My mind feels clear. I'm really grateful to be a mother. I'm like a really, really proud mom this week, not just because it's Sydney's birthday, but there's stuff going on with Simon too. And just seeing how he has taken care of, how he takes care of himself is just been, to me, it's like I got my report card as a mom, and it was like, you upgrade, you go to 12th grade, or you graduate.
Yeah.
It just feels so good to look around at my kids and see them thriving, even in a really challenging time. And that has really been giving me some really great energy. And also, along with that, just having Apple. I've been grateful for you too, Apple, because of you hooking up Simon, and just that led to a bunch of thoughts of you always being there for the kids, and just also not just the kids, but both Aaron and I individually, and just been really grateful for you, whether I've said it or not. And so I'm saying it on air, but
Thank you.
I love you so much, and I'm so grateful that we do this together. Like, I really am grateful that we do this together. And I'm super looking forward to, our No Simple Road family coming and getting to spend some time, like, camping and getting to know each other and having fun and just whatever that brings, and getting out of the pandemic and showing my face at work and feeling the sunshine. Like, it just feels like a new beginning. And there's parts of me, like I said earlier, that are trepidatious and a little kind of nervous. But that's not what's been at the forefront of my week. And it's been just kind of like, maybe like sitting kind of like behind me and to the side, just like, I see you there, but I'm not going to let you lead, Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, I've been having a really good time. Just period. I don't really have anything specific going on, just all those things that I said, and just feeling grateful.
Grateful.
That really seems to be the word that sums up how the collective is feeling right now.
We have to be grateful. What else is there? You, like, after you've gotten everything taken away and you're given things back, if you're not grateful, you're an asshole. I'm sorry to say that, but if you're not grateful, that's just you being a fucking shithead. Like, to some degree, everybody's had their life rocked by this, and now we're coming back to whatever degree, to whatever capacity. And it is imperative that we're grateful and that we lead with that. We need to lead with our heart now. We need to have an open chest, an open heart, and just be freaking grateful for whatever we get, for however long we get it. That's my thought.
You get what you get.
And you don't throw a fit. But no, it's even more than that. You get what you get and you appreciate it. And thank Gaia, thank freaking Mother Earth, thank Grandfather Sky, thank your husband, thank your wife, thank your boss, thank everybody in your life, because everyone's been through shit and we're kind of coming out of it. So why not? That's how we should present ourselves, is with much more gratitude.
We gotta help each other continue, because we got literally have some shit on us that we gotta
we have stank
continue
on
to help
us.
each other get off.
Yes. And think about this: when somebody says, "Hey, thank you for doing that," it always feels good to get a thank you. It does. It feels good to get a genuine thank you, like, "Hey, thanks for picking that up for me," or "Thanks for saying that. I appreciate that."
It's funny that you said that.
Why?
I did something today. I fanboyed a little bit. I sent Trey a DM, and I'm sure that guy gets thousands and thousands of messages every day, but
why can't you be one of the thousands?
I just was like, fuck it. You know what? Like the whole reciprocity thing. And if that's what I can do to give back to somebody that's given so much to me, like, okay, I'm going to do that, whether they see it or not. You know?
It's for you at that point.
Totally. And it's
good for you.
Yeah. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah. If I have any little tiny message, this week, it's be even more grateful. Say that you already are. Be even more. Overkill on the gratitude, because one, it really does change your behavior and your attitude. If you're like, oh, grateful for your food, or grateful for my car, I'm grateful for my clothes, I'm grateful for my brain, like, it just changes how you see things if that's what you're leading with.
Wow. Well, I can't agree more. I mean, like you said, having everything taken away and then getting it back, it really does make you see it in a whole new light. Every little thing.
We thought these were rights of ours. We thought that we.
Well, I just never even thought that it would. Well,
exactly.
Never even thought about that.
That's what
it's
we
a
all
right
are.
Or anything. Yeah, it was
that's what I'm saying.
Here.
Like, in hindsight, that's what I'm saying. Like, we didn't necessarily think this is my right to go to a concert, or this is my right to. No, we didn't think that way. But hindsight, it's like we thought that because that's how we were just operating. No big deal. It's never
a given.
Yeah, it's a given. And clearly it's not.
It's not a fucking given.
No, nothing's a given.
So what about you, Apple?
Yeah, I'm all right.
All right.
Go ahead.
Darwin?
Right.
Oh, no, I would say the same thing. Kind of like what Mel was saying. I love how this kind of happened, because last Monday, we'll start with last Monday.
Okay.
Last Monday, I come home from work. We everybody heard on our last intro, it was hella hot. You saw on the national news how hot. There was 2 places on Earth that were hotter than Portland last weekend, and it was in Saudi Arabia and like close to Ethiopia and Africa.
Wow.
Were the only 2 spots hotter than us on the planet. So that was kind of like, holy shit. And then Monday, I get home a little after 6. It's 111 degrees. It's hot as hell. We're all outside for a little bit. And within an hour and a half, the temperature dropped 25 degrees. That like bubble of heat over us, we were all like, what? Wait, what?
It was actually incredible.
I had to keep looking at the update, like, whoa, all of a sudden this breeze came and it just pushed it out. And to me, that was the beginning of a week of building up to today, to Independence Day, all about claiming our independence again, getting our shit back. Wednesday at work, we got to take, because we've had plexiglass dividers and the masks and everything for quite a while, and all that came down. And we were, right now, everybody's a little skeptical of how things are going to be perceived and reacted to. 100%, everybody, every customer, every employee was just like so happy. It just opened everything back up. The shop, the shops looked better. People were elated for our bud tenders. They've been like, tips have been kind of low. All of a sudden, tips like doubled. Everybody's happy, tipping, high-fiving, hugging, smiling, and now there's the yelling's gone. There's a lot of yelling in retail.
I hadn't thought of that.
I know Mel deals with, because you deal with a lot of elderly people that come shopping
all the time,
and you got
we have music on,
and a lot of times it was taken as being rude.
Yes,
like why are they fucking yelling? I heard people like, why are you yelling? Oh, they're talking to an elderly person that's having a hard time understanding them. So like all that was gone Wednesday, and then it's just been a couple wonderful days after that. Come home Friday evening, have a nice evening with the family, beautiful weather, and then get to watch all these peach streams that keep getting posted and stuff.
Yeah.
And that Friday, yesterday, and then this morning, and into this evening, Bill Nershi and String Cheese take the stage tonight at Peach Festival
For the first time.
For the first time. It's just so much going on, and every band, haven't got to see any of Andy Frasco and the UN yet, but it just, sort the pictures, Taz joined them on stage. It looked like they killed it. By the end of it, Andy's soaking wet, standing on stage in his underwear. So, Andy brought it as usual. So, I mean, just everybody, the Humphreys set, everybody
amazing.
is just so happy to be out there doing what we were all meant to do.
Yeah.
And that's what, culminating with today, the 4th of July, the celebration of Sydney, remembering Aaron's dad, the Independence, friends coming over, a listener coming from across the country to stay with us. It's just snowballing. We got plans. We got things like we mentioned last week. We got things where it's like, shit, we can't, to run into that position again that used to suck so bad of we can't make them all. Things coincide weekend. It's like, I'll take it. Can just keep lining them
Makes
up.
it easier
We'll take,
now.
yeah. Well, okay, we're not going to get to see Billy Strings because we're going there, but Billy's back on tour. He's young. He's going to be making it around the country. We will see him and hug him eventually. It's just great to have things going, and a few personal trips. We got stuff going on with just stuff for us. We got fish shows, which is amazing because fish is kind of personal. We're not going as No Simple Road to that.
Right.
This is like our personal party with Trey and the boys, and it's just amazing. Everything's looking good.
Right on.
Yeah.
And that's my week. It's just elation, feeling great.
I like how you put that Monday, that breeze. It did kind of blow everything away. It really
because
did.
it was very oppressive. Like it was like a punctuation mark on the end of this oppressive. It was like, oh, check this out, 115 degrees, you're gonna die. and then it was just like in an hour, something went this. Pop the bubble.
Yep.
Pop the bubble. A breeze came in, 25-degree dip in temperature. I even had to text my dad because he lives in Vegas still, and he was messing with me. He's like, "Oh, it sure is hot up there." I sent him a text before I went to bed that night. It was like 76 degrees when it was 111 at 6 o'clock. It was like, that's the difference up here.
Yeah, you can feel that energy's in the air, dude. That what you're saying. It really is, at least in the house.
And you can feel it. I think it has a lot to do, like you brought up Simon and said, like Simon's been so sweet lately. That boy's been through hell in a year and a half. That was his senior year. He got homecoming. He got everything ripped out from under him. Had to go to we had to go to a drive-in graduation.
He was like,
people
that was the
honking
worst.
their horns.
Yeah.
It was something. I'm glad I went to see it, but they did the best they could.
Exactly. I was going to say that I was so grateful as a parent that they did what they could do. It sucked because, it wasn't what the tradition was, and it wasn't like all that, the build up to just you get to park in a parking lot. But they did do something, and it was amazing. And so, I was grateful for even that little tiny
And I'm grateful. Well, I got to throw it back at Mel too. I'm grateful for you too, Mel. I enjoyed our. We had an intense discussion last night about some things.
Yeah.
And then to break it up, I was like, well, okay, wait, hold on, watch this Humphreys stream.
Oh,
then it's immediately like let's throw on some good music and bring it back.
See, but that's what I love that we get to do. We get to like do freaking hard ass conversations that are like super deep, and then next thing you know, we're jumping around singing to freaking Humphreys, and yeah, it was amazing.
That's life.
It is life.
That's life.
Well,
while you were slaving in the kitchen for us,
buddy boy.
Well, like I said, man, I'm seeing it all happening again, and like it feels amazing. And I don't want to rehash what I already said, but like on a personal level, I've said this a couple of episodes ago. Like I wasn't letting myself feel the feeling because the disappointment had been so great and for such an extended period of time, and like I'm not doing that anymore, and that's fucking awesome. And I don't know, man, seeing the peach really did something. It like snapped something loose in me, and I want to go on the road.
Oh my God.
I told Apple.
I fell in love with you last night.
I told Apple.
You did?
Yeah, I did.
I wanted to marry you again last night.
I want to go on the road, man. I'm tired of being tied to a desk, and I raised my family, and my kids are fucking dope, and they're good human beings, and they're living their lives,
independent, self-sufficient,
and it's empty nest time, and
Mama and Dada gotta go have
need to go
fun.
be young again.
I want to take some time and pick a place to go.
And going on the road, like we were talking about, it's not as expensive. I mean, being on the road, you can live pretty meagerly.
It's not even about expensive or not. It's about literally. I feel like for me and you, we need another adventure. Like we need this.
Well, it's coming. We have.
That's you.
Yeah,
you guys.
We've got.
Yeah, not just. Well, you know what I mean. Like when I say us, but you
and
know
the reason
what
I bring up expensive is that's what you're talking about. We're not like if we had a very expensive mortgage or rental payment like we do now.
Yes,
we're not there. We're not there. This is what we need to do with the show.
Absolutely.
To grow the show, be dedicated to it, be dedicated to ourselves, and to help the rebirth.
So the thought in my head is like, I'm not sure what the time frame is, but like when we do it, that No Simple Road is our source of income, and we live on the show, and we just go to whatever festivals we want and shows we want and towns we want and cities and do our thing. And also, not for nothing, like the thing with Saint Disruption, John Medeski and Jeff Firewalker,
everybody.
like that thing is coming together. And we actually got some really good news this week. We lined up a really big guest for our inaugural episode, like way bigger than anybody we've ever had on No Simple Road. And it's a little terrifying and extremely exhilarating to be in the pilot seat of that plane that's getting ready to take off. Like I'm in there with Jeff and John Medeski, and we're going down the runway with this thing. And it's really exciting, and like I said, a little terrifying. And I'm excited for all of you guys to hear what's going to come out of that. I think that it's going to be transformative.
Oh yeah, this is a huge undertaking as far as like what it's going to be. Like, you know, like when a band makes a huge stage production, right? It's like their album is amazing, and then you see them live, and it's like, whoa. What this podcast I see happening is like once the word gets out, it's gonna be insane. Mm-hmm. It's gonna be so beautiful and so strong.
Yeah. So a lot of planning with that.
So to all you listeners out there, all our supporters that have invited us to come stay with you, we're coming your way.
Totally
clear a
coming
spot.
Your way.
You know, we're not picky.
You can't back out now. Don't be backing out.
I mean, that's what's going to be beautiful about this when we get to go on the road is we get to go around the country and get to see everybody and go visit all these beautiful places that you guys live
So-
and see what you do.
Except for North Dakota, right? We don't have no listeners in
No. So the week has been spent thinking about all of that and working hard to set up No Simple Road over the next couple of months with really quality guests as we go back into festival and concert season for us, because we're going to be gone a lot.
Yeah.
So we need to have some stuff in the bag.
And we
so
do.
I'm booking our calendar out a little bit. I'm booking it up for just until we get going, and then we'll be able to coast on that stuff. So that I'm working on all that stuff, and it's just been a lot of hard work lately, and like putting my nose to the grindstone before we go back out. And it's been really fun and like exciting to have that feeling again of like knowing that we're going to see the No Simple Road family out there, and it's not just Instagram posts anymore. It's real fucking people at shows that we can hug and dance with and meet and hang out with. And that's the part of the show that I've always loved the most, is meeting the people that listen and being friends with them. And that's like our community. That's our people. And that's precious and priceless to me. And I've really fucking missed you guys. And I'm really excited to see you.
It is exciting.
You know, every week when we do the business, we talk about the tepid line, 971-808-1524. And, you know, we're like, send us anything. You can say anything. You can do it, blah, blah. Check this out. When I was talking to Mel about going on the road, I was thinking like, it would be cool to hear from our listeners and see where they're at. So why don't you call the tepid line, 971-808-1524, and just check in from wherever you're at. This is Larry. I'm checking in from Detroit, Michigan. This is Carol. I'm checking in from San Diego, California. I would love to get a pulse of where all of you people are, because I don't know. You are a number in an algorithm on my screen right now. That's all I know. I don't know where you guys are.
You could do the detective work.
I could, but I would much rather
That's
hear your
right.
voices.
Yeah.
So do that. Call and check in. Let me know where you guys are at, so we could, like, I don't know, start making a plan of, you know, a map.
Meet up.
Where we're going,
Yeah.
what we're doing, setting stuff up. Maybe some live No Simple Road appearances at your local tap house.
Not maybe. That will happen. We talked about it with, who did we talk about it with? That was in North Carolina.
Oh, yeah.
Hardworking. No, not hardworking Americans.
Chad Staley. It was Chad. Yep. I think. No.
I
Anyway.
wasn't with. I wasn't. Anyway, but whoever you are, you know who you are. They were on
Yeah.
the show before,
Okay.
twice.
And, you know, Bullfrog Moon.
Yeah, Bullfrog Moon.
Yeah. So, yeah, we'll make that happen. And, you know, I can't wait to see your smiling faces and your big, gigantic pupils, because I miss that too. So that's my whole bag. Let's do the business, you guys.
Follow us on No Simple Road
At
No Simple Road. And when you're done with that, go to nosimpleroad.com.
And sign up for the newsletter, buy some merch, listen to all the back episodes. What
There's
else?
some really good back episodes, you guys. Just
Yeah.
if it like came to you one time when you listened to the show and it's like, oh my God, go re-listen to it.
You know, I was seeing High Sierra posting a bunch of stuff because they're not doing it this year. So they're like really hitting their social media hard to stay in everybody's minds. And those High Sierra episodes that we did, like, that was our first time as a show at a festival. We didn't know
We
what
were
the
green.
fuck we were doing.
Gem. That was a gem, though.
Yeah.
It was a gem.
And it was so much fun. And those episodes are so raw and so good and so
with our
much
doo-doo
fun.
limo.
Dude,
Every bit of it. Doo-doo limo and all. It's precious.
Yeah, I encourage everybody to go back and re-listen to that if you're missing High Sierra this year, and just have fun with us, because you're right, Aaron. It was really, really raw
Twiddle,
and fun.
Reed Mathis, the Russ Liquid Test,
Neil
Neil Casal.
Casal.
I mean,
Come on. Those are
Just that right there.
yeah, that's out of the park. Yeah. So
Okay,
go
so what
listen to
else?
that. And Yeah.
No
Oh, our
review.
tepid line.
I already said that.
971-808-1524.
Call and check in.
That's right.
And also, if you want to do something for the show, check it out. Go on Apple Podcasts and leave us a 5-star review and then type something. Nobody did it. It's July. It's the
new one
beginning of
this week.
July.
That's okay.
We
got one for June.
We did.
Thank
we
you.
need to get at least 5 for July.
5
I'm
for
throwing it
July?
out there.
That would be
one of the
super,
5.
super
Wow,
exceptional.
One
Yeah.
of the 5.
Come on, man. You guys, hook it
Do
up.
it.
You know, it doesn't take very long.
Joel, your collage is done. I'm going to be sending it out.
Speaking of
very
collages.
soon.
Oh, yeah,
And I
that's
have a
dope.
couple that I owe. So everybody just chill back. I know who you are. You awesome patrons of ours. Thank you so much. I need to be inspired. And then I have like all this stuff going on. So be patient. When you get it, it will be your treasure. And I am
They
just
are so cool.
super excited about Joel's. Joel's really like
It came out good.
it came out so sometimes I just don't know what it's going to come out like, but this one I really
amazing.
love.
So
I
what Mel,
added some more touches after I showed you.
what Mel is talking about is patreon.com/No Simple Road. You can go on there. That is how we pay for the show. And listen, we're going on the road. It's going to happen. I
Regardless.
don't know when, but it's going to happen. And we need you guys to help.
We're about a year out.
Help us make it happen. So here's the deal. Patreon.com/No Simple Road. If you pledge $20, you get a secret surprise package and you get a hand-designed, one-of-a-kind Melanie Schaefer collage artwork piece that is timeless.
I'm getting better too.
She's so fucking good at it. I was down there yesterday looking at her whirlwind hurricane nightmare of a desk
Yeah,
that she's
it really
got.
is pretty.
And there's like
But it's organized
it
chaos.
is. And there's a couple of finished pieces over there. And I was just like, holy shit. I was like, Mel, you're super fucking talented, man. This stuff is really good. Like, it is next level good stuff. So $20 gets you a collage from Mel.
Yeah.
And nobody else will have that. And look, you can give $1, you can give $3, you can give $5, $20, whatever. It's up to you. That's how you take care of the No Simple Road family. And
The more
help
we
us-
get, the sooner we get to go on the road.
yeah, and help us continue doing
I
this
mean,
thing. That
I
we
think
love.
it'd be cute if we had like a little piggy bank on Patreon. That if you just want to like put some
That's
money
called
into
PayPal.
our piggy bank,
That's called
that would be
PayPal.
super cute.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
here's for your
PayPal
trip.
piggy
Here's
bank.
$5
PayPal
for
Piggy
your
Bank,
trip.
the triple P. PayPal Piggy Bank.
Piggy.
PayPal Piggy
No
Bank.
Simple Road at gmail.com is our PayPal if you want to do a one-time donation. Super cool.
Piggy bank.
Yep. And hey, I want you guys to remember something. Everybody out there, you're fucking rad. You're the best listener family out there. You have made our entire experience since doing this show something that can't be matched. And we are super grateful for each and every one of you that listens every week. Those of you that tune in once in a while. Those of you that just found out about the show. We fucking love you guys, man. And thank you for letting us come into your ears every week. How we came in your ears every week. But yeah,
Whoa. Aaron just took it.
Yeah,
to
we just
another
me
level.
and Mel just looked at each other. We just let him enjoy that. We're
Just
like,
know
oh,
that
right.
that's not from all of us. That's from Aaron.
no, you let us into your brain every week. How about
Yeah,
that?
and
And that's an honor and a pleasure, and we don't take it lightly, and we appreciate you. So
Do
that's
appreciate
what I was
that.
trying to say.
Yeah.
So badly.
Thank you.
Anyway, should we get him?
Yeah.
Well,
let's
hey,
get
I
into
have,
Greg.
I have two, just
What?
real quick,
Yeah.
two more things to say. First of all, Greg, like we said, go check out his site. Go check out Mother Hips. They are going on tour.
Woohoo!
Mother Hips is doing quite a few dates. Check, see if they're coming to your area. They're planning a couple dates up here in Oregon, Sisters and Hood River. So everybody's getting back out there. And the other thing I want to share, because go do this. And Mel hasn't seen this yet. We're going to show her this after this. Trey Anastasia took the stage with Celise Henderson, who I just kind of got introduced to.
Oh yeah, Mel needs to see this.
It's a 14.5-minute video. 8 minutes is Trey and this wonderful, beautiful gal going back and forth on guitar, and it is amazing. Just describing it again, it gave me goosebumps head to toe, up and down again several
me tear
times
up.
listening to it.
Wow.
Go check out
Kind of
that,
excited
and
about this.
go check out these streams that people are posting on YouTube and everything. of the wonderful event that is happening in Scranton, Pennsylvania this weekend.
And I would be remiss if I didn't mention that No Simple Road is an Osiris original. We are part
right.
of Osiris Media.
Osiris.
There are a ton of good podcasts on Osiris, but there is a new one. It's called Alive Again, and it's all Trey Anastasio
really
from
good.
Fish. It is him intimate in a way that you have never heard him talk before. If you are a Fish fan or a fan of Trey and you haven't listened to Alive Again on Osiris, you need to go do that after you're done listening to No Simple Road. It is my new favorite. So
It's really awesome.
thanks for having us be an Osiris original, Osiris Media. You guys are the bee's knees, cat's pajamas.
Right on.
I like being OGs.
We're going to go because we got to go have some fun.
Yeah, we're going to go see a Jerry Garcia band tribute band here
That's
at
right.
Edgefield. So we love you guys. We'll see you soon. We're going to get you to the interview. Without further ado, the No Simple Road crew gives you
Greg from
the
Mother
Mother
Hips.
She knew it was a little too early for a brand new game. But Patty didn't like it when things stayed the same. She jumped off a moving train, and it wasn't an ankle but her heart she sprained. And there's no stopping Patty when she's jumping from a moving train. She was a quarter mile out of town when I got her call. Through the phone I could hear her chest quickly rise and fall. She told me to take a hike when I asked her to come back and set things right. A half an hour later she was knocking on my bedroom wall. Well, the truth is you could never let me down. Oh, you're my best friend in town. Ain't it funny how people you know change to people you don't? When they end up doing lots of things that they said they won't. Well, Patty, she's got her stuff, but when it comes to being Patty, she does not bluff. She's fine and free and tough, and that's good enough. Well, the truth is you could never let me down. Oh, you're my best friend in
right, man. Yeah.
Hey.
So, in the world of interviews, this will be the most relaxed, easy conversation you ever had in your life. So,
Fantastic.
no fucking stress here, man. I'm Aaron, by the way.
How's it going, Aaron? Nice to meet you.
Nice
Greg.
to meet you too, Greg.
And I'm Mel over here. Thanks for joining us, Greg. So appreciate it.
And I'm the third wheel. I'm Apple. I am the other co-host and everything. Thank you so much for giving us some of your time on this beautiful Sunday.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So how you doing, man? How's everything going?
I'm doing pretty good, actually. Having a nice Sunday.
Yeah.
And can't complain.
I mean,
well, wait, hold on. Before we get going, we introduced ourselves. We always go right over it. For our listener, we know who you are and have known who you are for a long time. For some of our listeners, which most of them know, but those that don't, tell us who you are and why you're here today.
Absolutely. Yeah. My name is Greg Loiacono, and I'm talking to you from Novato, California, in northern Marin.
Okay.
And I'm a member of the band The Mother Hips and have been for 30 years.
Wow.
This is our 30th year performing and playing and recording together. Tim Bloom and I started the band up in Chico, California in 1991. And as well, I do a lot of other musical things in my life. But that's been the mainstay for 30 years. So super grateful about just music in general, but that particular band and relationship and cultivated world.
Yeah. Mother Hips is a force of nature. And congratulations.
Yeah. You definitely deserve a congratulations for that.
Thank you.
That's a beautiful, 30 years. Have you done anything else for 30 years?
Breathe.
No. I was 19 when the band started.
Wow.
And so that's pretty much my whole life.
Yeah. I mean, we've been doing this
3 years.
3 years? Yeah.
3 years.
And I have the benefit of hindsight of that 3 years of looking back on what we've done and seeing how it all came together and kind of starting to be able to navigate the ship a little tiny bit. Mm-hmm. But where you're at 30 years in, the benefit of hindsight and what you've learned has to be gargantuan you know what I'm saying? The 19-year-old kid that started a band all those years ago to the guy that you are now, when you look back on that, what do you think is the thing that you're most proud of?
Man. Right out, the first thing that comes to mind is that being able to sustain anything for that long.
Right.
Just being able to maintain, sustain, and continue to feel like it's growing. I feel proud of that for sure. I have a lot of heart and soul in the fact that it's not something that we had some hit in the early 90s and then we've been riding on that. We've had to reinvent, recultivate, just continue to just forge our way through the world musically and just in general. And so that feels really good. Feels really good to be here today talking with people like you, music lovers that are still interested in what we're doing. And that's amazing.
Yeah. Well, in thinking about being a music lover, the thing that keeps me interested is when a band can, like you said, reinvent themselves over and over again. The bands that I love the most don't sound the same from album to album. And it's not the same thing over and over again. I think when you run into that, you run into more the one-hit wonder kind of stuff. But maintaining something like that for 30 years, you're constantly evolving and learning and growing. And is it hard when you have some a few years behind you, let's say 10 years in, and now you're back in the studio and you got to go at it again to find fresh ground to cover?
Interestingly enough, with the Mother Hips, that's been a gift. It's never been hard to turf up material between Tim and I and the band. Whether it was stuff that we conjured while when we were touring so much, so stuff was evolving on the road, or different periods of time where we were more isolated from each other and doing other projects and then coming back in. Knock on wood, we just got out of the studio, and the label owner was like, hey, you got to make a record, especially because it's your 30 year and your guys aren't going to be touring like you normally do.
Yeah.
And we, Tim and I didn't have anything. I just put out a solo record. He just put one out. We were kind of, okay. And we turned the record into mastering last week, and
what?
we love it, and so that's been a huge blessing that we've been able to never. There's periods of time where like, man, I got nothing,
right?
And he'll be in Forge. Usually there's, it's kind of like in any relationship, it's like you hope that when that person's feeling down, the other person's feeling up, so you can, that synergy. And that's been pretty well there the whole time, I'd say. There's definitely been all sorts of ups and downs, and it hasn't been a simple road.
No, just Tim's story by itself is crazy and gnarly.
Yeah.
And what a sweetheart of a man too. We haven't talked long, but even just your demeanor, you guys are sweethearts, and to have a partnership for that, like, that's a relationship. Well, even
for sure,
right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm interested in that aspect of the band. Like, how do you maintain a great working relationship with someone after so long? There's ups and downs, your ups and downs, families, blah, blah, blah. Like, how do you maintain with each other, not just the music, but just with each other?
Yeah, that's a great question. I don't really have an answer for it, except that, we've just stuck it out.
Your brothers.
There's something to be said for like commitment.
Yeah. And I think that we've just, and all the people that we've met in the periods of time of moving away from each other in certain ways, it's like we've always, and we're very different people. We look different. Although Tim the other day said, I think the older we get, the more we're looking more like each other somehow,
each other.
And, he's 6'5" and blonde and but we're sort of morphing into, it's like when you have a pet, and you start looking like the pet.
I look just like my dog. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's kind of silly, but I think that we've always kind of come back to it. I mean, there was a connection right out of the gate, not only as in a friendship way and just an understanding of the world and certainly of music and but also then that connection musically between singing together and playing music and what that feels like and the sort of that unspoken connection that we have musically, again, also coming from fairly different backgrounds. And even on the journey, we go into our different phases of what we're into musically or who we're listening to or what we're trying to achieve, whether it's recording or live performances. And it always sort of, even when it's different and maybe we don't see eye to eye, it always seems to support each other even in those moments.
That's a gift, man. That's
special.
That's something special.
I agree. Yeah.
Go ahead, Al.
I also just think too, with like you and Tim both, I would think it also helps that, like with Mother Hips, you that's a voice of you guys together, but then you both are very, very good at your solo stuff. You also have your own voice in the stuff that you do separate from that. I would think that would kind of aid in the mother hips being able to mesh better and stuff, because the things you couldn't do together, you do on your own, and you do it very well.
I think that's a good point, and maybe that's part of what's helped sustain it, since we, if we were stuck in the same ship the whole time, and we had been. There were times where it got, things were really challenging. So I think you're right, that us doing our own things has always informed sort of the greater Mother Hips picture.
Yeah. So you're re-releasing all of your stuff for your 30th anniversary? What's going on?
Right. So this year's the 30th. Our record label is called Blue Rose Music. And they're based the office is based out of Nashville, but the owner lives in Sonoma County, so north of me in Glen Ellen. And I was hanging out with him over the summer, and he said, "Well, what are we going to do for your 30th? You're certainly not going to be touring." And I was like, I don't even know what I'm going to do next week.
Right.
And he's like, let's put all the records out on vinyl. Said, well, that would be neat. That would be a big undertaking. He's like, we could do it. Let's do it. So there's 10 full length, we've had EPs and 7 inches and singles and stuff, but there's 10 full length albums. 5 of them had never been on LP, on vinyl. The first 5 were on, the first couple were on cassette and CD, and then only on CD. And then Kiss the Crystal Flake, which was our 6th album, was the first one to come out on vinyl, and that came out in 2007. So it was a big undertaking, and Michelle, the general manager at Blue Rose, and myself and Tim and a graphic designer just sort of started going to town on trying to make it so, because especially with COVID and delays and all sorts of manufacturing, it's just crazy, especially in the vinyl world. But we did it. We cranked it out. So since January, Back to the Grotto, which is the title of our first debut release, came out in January, and then each month we're releasing.
Oh, that was weird. That was totally weird. I've never seen that happen.
No, it just froze.
Oh, sorry.
You froze.
No, that's all
cool.
good.
It's cool. So
okay, where did I freeze?
January you released the first one, and then you were going to release one every month, and then it cut.
Yeah, and so if that happens again, I can move. I'm down in my studio, and sometimes the reception's a little wonky.
Okay,
it's cool.
So if that happens again, I can pop upstairs or something.
Okay.
But, so January was Back to the Grotto was our first release that came out in January. So each month a release will come out, an album will come out. So, and then we're finishing out the year with a brand new album.
Wow.
Wow.
That's
and so
perfect.
Which we just finished. We just turned the mixes into mastering, and we're working on the artwork. So we got to get that to the manufacturer ASAP, because we want to release it. What we do, you may or may not know, but every year for over 25 years, we've been doing what's called the Hipsmas. So we do a holiday show at the Great American Music Hall.
Right.
Every year, and we usually have some friends open, and sometimes we do ultimate set lists. Sometimes we cover an album, one of ours or somebody else's. It's it's one of our big gatherings of the year.
Right.
And so we really want to have the new record available for that show. We're working. So the music and the recording's done. So that's great. Now we just kind of have to see if we can get the manufacturing happening. So that's the plan, the 30-year plan, and it's in action. We're in April. Later Days came out. That was our 4th album. So April was Later Days month. And that's a fan favorite. That's been really fun. It's never been on vinyl, and people have been sending me all sorts of messages about how happy they are to have that one on LP. And
the music sounds so much warmer, and there's just something about vinyl. There's something about vinyl, man.
And looking at it, like getting the larger images, and each each issue has either a quote from Tim or John or I or one of the producers or someone who worked on the record. So there's some new photos. So in the inner sleeve, there'll be something a little bit special and different than the original release. So that's kind of neat.
Does the album art stand alone for each album, or is this something that like kind of carries over from album to album? Like
in general?
Yeah.
No, they're all pretty standalone.
Okay.
I mean, the one thing that really carried over up until maybe the second to last album is that Tim's brother Eric typically either designed or had a hand in designing the album art.
Okay. Wow. You know, having a body of work like that and being able to, for you, like, forget about us as fans, like for you to take all that and see it in one place and have it all like in front of you as a concrete thing that you can hold on. Because music it's everywhere. It's in the air. You can put it on a CD. You can listen to it on your computer. But like to have the vinyl and to see it and feel it and have it in your hands, that's got to be like an insane feeling for you to see your work in front of you like that.
It's neat.
I'll bet, man.
Yeah, it's neat. And a big part of it was receiving the test pressings each month. And and Michelle would be like, you guys got to listen to this and sign off on it as soon as possible. Cause this isn't just one album we're putting out. This is 10. And so Tim and I would get these, did you listen to it yet? No, I haven't listened to it. No, you listen to this one. I'll listen to that one. Let's go bring this to Dave Schwartz. Dave will listen to it, cause have Dave listen to all my test pressings anyway. Cause he's got the killer ears and the sound system
and the system for it. Yeah.
So, but one thing that was interesting, I think Tim had said it when we started writing this newest album. He's like, it's kind of cool listening to, I think probably less than me. He probably hadn't heard, Shootout or Part-Timer Goes Full in like a decade or more.
Wow.
I would every once in a while when we'd had a guest musician or we're learning one of our records, I'd go back and listen to an old record. Otherwise, I don't really listen to them. But we had to listen to them to make sure the test pressing sounded good. And I think it was a good reflection for us to go, oh yeah, these the way we were then, we knew nothing about anything. We were just, the music was literally coming out of our pores. We never went to music school. It was so freeform. And so we definitely, we tuned into some of that stuff, and man, there's such a free spirit in this. And I feel like it helped us bring a little bit of that into this last record too.
Shit.
Right on.
That's
Right.
like full
You like
circle.
were reliving the journey from the beginning and
in all the good
bring it-
and bad. Cause you're
That's
like, oh my
amazing.
God, that's what I sounded like there. Or, and also like, hey, we weren't too bad. So it was like this real roller coastery, looking through a family photo album, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, in a 30-year history to me, I mean, I can't think of it right now, but there's not a lot of bands that have
Fish,
made
The
it
Dead.
30 years. Yeah, the Dead,
Yeah.
like a handful. And I mean,
Yeah.
that's monumental. And then to do what you're doing, because we talked to a lot of artists, like what goes into pressing one album is a lot. Like you said, coordinating and all that in the middle of the pandemic and all that, and you're doing them all in 1 year. That's an amazing undertaking.
Yeah. And again, that like the label really like just stepped up and made that happen. Super, super powerful. We would have maybe, if we were on our own, maybe had the foresight and ability to put out one release for the 30th, but 10 is a big achievement, and we're almost halfway through. So
Wow.
I think we'll make it. Yeah, I think it's looking good. There might be some delays, but that's all right.
It is what it is.
So-
as they
It's all
say.
good.
I wonder, Greg, like how, what kind of things have you had to do to pivot during this time? I mean, everybody's different, like a lot of people do live streams or, maybe small concerts or whatever. Like, what's scratching that itch for you performing and as a musician that you've had to kind of like pivot to since all of this?
Yeah, that's a great question. I'd like to hear what you guys have done too, because that's just
We
a
had to,
fascinating
Greg.
I'll tell you, I'll give you an answer to that.
Yeah.
So early on at the beginning of all this, I didn't know if we were going to continue because I'm like, we're a live music podcast. There is no live music.
The caveat is though, Aaron is very dramatic.
And I'm crazy. Yeah, that's also a thing.
Yeah.
And so I started realizing, though, through feedback that we were getting from listeners, that this was becoming the venue, that this was the place where they were connecting with the artist through this time when they couldn't connect with the people that they love and revere and go to see and travel around the country for and all of it. And I also started realizing that, like, how important that community is to the people that are in it. So for each other, there's friendships that have happened and these people have gotten together. So the way that we kind of pivoted is the show still, we do stuff like we're doing with you right now, but we also started bringing more practical application stuff. Like, how do we change our consciousness kind of things to the family so that, like, how do we move forward out of this shit, man?
Well, I think too, like, to add to what he's saying is, the show was entertainment, just like going to a show, right? Like, you're going to a show for entertainment, having a good time. Now with this captive audience, what else can we offer them?
Right.
And so here's this now, like, nutrition. Here's these amazing thinkers. Here are these authors, and here are these, PhDs that they have ideas of what's going on right now. And why don't we put them to the forefront? Why don't we bring something that's going to give, including us and our audience, like manna, some food,
Something to think about
while we're waiting for our break that we used to always have, which was a Friday night show or a weekend. We're going to go fly off and go see so and so. Like, we don't have that. So now we need to incorporate all this crazy shit that's going on. How do we do that? And so it was a really, it was a natural thing. It just felt natural to do that, to continue to talk with the artists, keep them relevant too. Cause you know how it is, right? Like, my daughter's in the entertainment industry. It's great that you did an ad, last Tuesday, but what about, this coming
today,
week, nice for you, but we want new, we want current, we want fresh. And so, I feel like that's kind of what the show brought. Instead of strictly musicians or strictly festivals, we brought, what's feeding us right now? What's getting us through this time right now? It was music, but now it's multiple things, So
and then I'll add one more thing too. We got to go around. The other thing we realized pretty quickly once Aaron, which that was funny that Mel said that, he gets dramatic about things, which makes us kind of dramatic too. Like, what are we going to do? But we quickly realized also, like, you sitting at home, right? This was a change for us. We started getting artists at home. Mm-hmm. We got to see a different, because that's one thing we've always liked to do is not just talk about, we're always getting the tour. I don't know what town. I think we were in Philly last night. Oh my God, I'm so tired. I'm burned out. I got to go. Interruptions. We got everybody at home, chilling and learning more about them. Like, one that sticks in my mind is Dave Schools.
Oh yeah.
We were talking to him from home, and he was talking about, and I read this about you too, that you've gotten very into gardening and getting into the earth, and that's grounding. He was so excited about being at home for the first time in many, many years when his peach tree had peaches that he could actually go pick and not have his wife like save him one for when he got off the road. So we started to get that. It started to get kind of more personal. Yeah. And we got to see another side.
Interviews.
We got to see people's backgrounds in their studios like we're looking at right now. Everybody like, so this is my room. And it became a different thing, a more personal thing for both sides.
So for you, what was it? What did you do, man?
Well, thanks for sharing, because I'm fascinated about Mel, your question just about how people pivoted, because people have really gotten creative
Yes.
and really had to like figure shit out.
Mhm.
Yeah, man.
And yeah, for me, one of the things that sort of got me out of the fear and darkness at first when I saw the calendar empty out like that, was I saw people starting to live stream, and my immediate judging voice was there. And I was judging it,
Me too.
Me too.
Yeah.
And then Tim was like, "Hey man," and we had talked a couple times. And side note to that, over the years, I'd see Tim on the road all the time, and back in the day, we actually used to like share a room and stuff, so we were together all the time. But once I got married, he got married, and our lives started getting separate. We'd see each other on the road. We'd answer emails together. We'd text about things, but talking on the phone was like something we hadn't done for, I think, especially in the first 6 months of the lockdown. We talked every day on the phone. And
Wow.
yeah, we both sort of had acknowledged, like, we didn't mean to, but our bond and friendship sort of grew in a way it hadn't in a long time. So that was really cool. So going back to it, Tim's like, I'm gonna do a live stream. I don't know what else to do. I'm freaking out. I've got bills to pay. Maybe I can make some money doing this, and I don't know what else to do. And he's living on his own. I got my family here and stuff. I got people in the house, so at least there's that. And so he did one, and he was like, actually, it was pretty cool. Like, this person was there, and these fans that we know, and he made some money, and he was playing, and they gave him some requests. So I think after like he's like, you should do one. So I kind of got out of my own crap and started doing them pretty regularly. And man, it was really special because you had to, it was a performance. I watched, and I was watching other people doing it and getting inspired. I watched Tommy Emmanuel, an amazing guitar player. He was doing one, and genius guitar player, one of the best in the world. And he said that it was like a show because he had to prepare, And so as the time went on, I'd ask for requests from people, and they'd be requesting either some cover songs that I'd never played, or a Mother Hip song, or one of my songs I hadn't played in a long time. And so then it got to be something to look forward to, because I'd go out shopping. I would be the one to forge out once a week to go shopping. We were doing puzzles here. We were all sitting tight and trying. My wife and kids were drawing a lot. And we started started doing gardening stuff, and all that was really beautiful. But then, I had this thing to look forward to. Well, Tim, how are you getting yours to sound like this? What can I do here to make it better, or emailing with it? You know what I mean?
Dude, I know. I'm laughing
Became
because
some-
what you're
became
seeing
something
is that.
Yeah, it became something to do. And then my kids started getting involved. So I don't know, I was always doing it through Facebook. It just seemed, even though I'm not crazy about Facebook in general, this was the spot. This is where the most amount of people were going to come, and it was easy enough for us to live stream. And then my daughter started joining me. My son started joining me. So then we had the Kitchen Family Singers. That was the band, because they were one night they were off, including my wife. They were singing harmonies on one of my songs, and I said, or someone on the stream said, "Oh, it's the Kitchen Family Singers," because I said they were singing, and that became a thing. Then when I showed up by myself to do a stream, they're like, "Where's the band?"
The kids? Yeah.
Like, this is boring. My dad went back to school, and she was Zooming, but she was in class because that was like summer and when school wasn't even in. And then my son got a job, and I lost the band. They got better gigs.
Oh shit!
More stable gig.
Oh, that's awesome.
How old are the kids?
So my daughter just turned 15 a couple of days ago. Her birthday is on Earth Day, April 22nd.
Happy
birthday.
Thank you. I'll tell her you said that.
Yeah.
And my son is 19, and he'll be 20 in September. He decided to defer. He graduated high school last year. He got accepted to NYU, and he will be starting. He took a gap year, and he'll be starting there in the fall.
That's a sharp
and so
kid.
He took a job to work and help save some money for school, and to just rather than sending him out to New York when things were so unknown.
Oh man,
he wasn't eager to leave. He felt fine about taking a year, and it's been wonderful. Yeah.
Wow, that's a blessing.
Let's spend more time with family.
Yeah, we have
huge.
We have a 19-year-old son and a 26-year-old daughter, and having time with them when they're older like that is invaluable. It's, it'll never be the way that it is right now ever again.
Yeah.
And so that was one thing that I really learned, through this, is like, even though this is annoying and it feels like the longest day of our life, this is only going to happen one time.
Hopefully. And
we're fortunate, like we're all of us here are fortunate with our health and our peace of mind, and we all collectively went through something really horrific and hard to go through, but we're here. And so I just try to stay on that gratitude train and thinking about how fortunate we are, that because our son graduated in 2020, and so what do? There's no prom. Yeah. There's no graduation ceremony. There's no, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
and
they were getting ready for prom, buying a tux and everything. When all of a sudden you're not doing nothing.
So I just say that because having him to be able to take a gap year and to be home, and like you have to be home, is really special.
Yeah. So I mean, those live streams were really, really great. I'd been started doing some production work, and actually right before lockdown, I was in the studio. You guys know who Reed Genauer is?
I know the name.
No,
he's the Assembly of Dust.
Yes.
Yeah, and Strange Folk, and so he's a talented songwriter. He's from the East Coast originally, but he moved out west some years ago, and he asked me to produce his record. And so we went into the studio. I put together a band, and that'll hopefully be coming out. I don't know, maybe sometime this year. I hope so. But that was work that I could do down here, at home. Some of the extra recording that we didn't do in the studio. And then another production gig came up with a new band who was formed in quarantine. There were some guys from different bands. They're called Karita, and they're really good. I'm super excited for that music to be heard and for that band to play, because that's going to be a really, really neat experience. So those are some of the things that also kept me musically busy.
So,
and then
what about Greenleaf Rustlers?
Oh, what about Greenleaf Rustlers?
That happened during this too, right? That was kind of in the midst.
No, that started in 2018, at the beginning of 2018, really.
Okay.
And coming into 2020, the Black Crowes were going to start up.
Right.
So that was sort of already like, well, we'll see, Chris is going to get really busy, and we'll see if we can put some shows in the mix, either before he hits the road hard, or in between. And obviously none of that came to. So the Rustlers haven't played since the end of 2019.
Wow.
Okay, so I guess I'm mistaken, because from the library, the Henry Miller Library, that's old stuff then.
The Henry Miller Library stuff that happened in 2020 was a different band that Chris put together with the guys from Beechwood Sparks. He put together now Barry Sless, who plays pedal steel in Greenleaf Rustlers, and huge other litany of amazing people. He played in that, as well as like Alex Coford was playing in that, and Ben Knight, and those guys from Beechwood Sparks, and Chris. So that was a different band.
Okay.
Another Chris side
There's a lot going on over there. Yep.
He's a busy guy. Yeah. So and that would technically be like a quarantine band, because I think the first time they've played once or twice. I don't know if they've just done a couple of gigs, but one of them was at Henry Miller. Yeah.
Okay. So, you said that it fascinates you hearing how people pivoted, right? For me, I'm fascinated by people's journey through this thing, like how their mental path through it. Because for me, it was is in the beginning, it was horrifying and horrific and terrifying and all that stuff. And then not knowing what the feelings that I was having were. I just knew that I didn't feel right. And like coming through the other side of that and realizing that like I was grieving my life that I had before, and not knowing that was the thing that was happening, then finally having that dawn on me and like, oh shit, I'm like really sad I lost this whole life that I had set up, and now it's becoming something new, and finding like different avenues of creativity, like the things that you're talking about, like singing with the kids and puzzles and all the weird shit that we all did to keep ourselves busy and are doing still, and like fixing our studio up and stuff like that. And I'm just curious with you, man, like if you don't mind talking about it. If you do, it's fine.
What is a city without its music?
The legacy of the New York Philharmonic is incredible.
Nearly 2 centuries of history. That's a lot of music and a lot of stories.
I was sitting on stage for the very first time thinking, I can't quite believe this is happening.
Join me, Jamie Bernstein, as we explore the history of the New York Philharmonic. It's the NY Phil story made in New York, a podcast about a city, its people, and their orchestra. Listen wherever you get podcasts.
How was your journey through it, like mentally, because you got a family too, and this was a big thing, and I think it's important for people to talk about it so that we don't feel alone.
Yeah. And I agree. And there are definitely some dark moments for sure. And on all different levels, just personally and globally, and even within the family. It was, and like I was saying, still is, there's still lots of, mysteries and unknowns of how things are going to unravel. I think that I'll speak to things that I feel really helped me.
Yeah, good.
Walking. I live in an area where I can walk, and it's there's a lot of trees, and so even just walking with my wife down the street at night, it was really healing. We'd talk, one night it would be I'd be the bag of wind, and she'd listen, and I'd be, and then, another night, maybe, it'd be her turn, and then there's some trails that as the spring, like about a year ago, exactly, started getting into some of the trails around here that, again, some of the things like Dave Schools was talking about, stuff that we don't get to spend that much time doing because we're always just in and out so much. So I got a little more intimate with some of the really cool trails that were really steep. So walking, up steep trails, and really, it's amazing how the image that I have when I'm doing something like that, where I start like gasping for air and stuff like that. It's almost like I can almost see my thoughts sort of like what's it called when skins like sloughing off, like off of my head, and all these thoughts would be, and it was a good, it was good therapy, nature therapy, for me. And then, yeah, and coming down here and getting better at finding time to really sit and work in my little studio and get that up and running more so, and communicating with friends that were mentors to me about how to make my situation better down here, and how to, because again, you just don't have time for that. I always wanted to get better at creating recordings in my own home, but never having that much time. Like when I was home, I want to be with the family, so there's opportunities to have some time. And there was a lot of time of just laying there. Like, believe me, I wasn't like, oh yeah,
motivated every day.
I'm going to, over the, and I look back and I go, cool, I did do some things, but there was a lot of time just laying on the floor, staring at the wall going, so, and being fortunate to have 3 other people here that we could all kind of look after each other. I would say the other thing that began helping a little later, and it's always helped me in general, is, so I work with people with mental health and addiction problems. I've been doing that for professionally, on the side for about 13 years. And I do a music, I guess you can call it music therapy. Music therapists wouldn't want me to call it music therapy, but I use music in a sort of process group setting at some treatment centers, and I've been doing that for about 10 years. And that's slowly, some of the places that I kind of book them like gigs. I'm a contractor, so when I am on the road, I can kind of piece them in. And so some of those, contractors are kind of the first to go anywhere. So right. I lost those right away. But as those started coming back in, that really, that work really keeps me in touch with my own mental health and my own recovery. So that's been another blessing for sure, that work continues to be in my life, and I'm able to be available and be of service in those kind of ways. And that, so I'd say that's been a big help.
That's a sure. hell of a list, man. That you touched on several things that for me too, like walking with Mel at night with the dog, like that was still is huge.
It's huge,
dude.
It's simple. It's so simple, and it's huge.
Right. I don't know what it is. I don't.
Quiet.
Yeah. It feels
good.
Was,
what's great was that I was always doing that with Darwin, and so
Darwin's the dog.
Nice.
And it was so great, whatever reason it was, to be able to have Aaron join us. And I love nature. I love walking. I love running, all that stuff. But there is something about your partnership when you're walking and you're just, like you said, kind of sloughing off that exfoliation of dead thoughts that we don't need. Yeah. That, you know what? Every thought is not a winner. We don't have to, we don't have to keep it.
That is for sure.
Right. And so just walking, and you're right, it's just like the most simple thing you could ever do. And honestly, walking and breathing, those two things can change everything.
Yeah. Game changers. Yeah. And I mean, if 30 years in the music industry and having success and raising a beautiful family is not like success enough, you also deal with addiction and recovery and helping people. And I had my struggles back in the day when Mel and I met. I was homeless, strung out on the street of Vegas shooting heroin, and 10 years of that. And so I get it. And I'm just curious, man, like what was that out of personal experience that you decided to give back to that thing?
Yeah, for sure. I was really young. I didn't think I was really young. I was 25 when I finally, got some help, and I felt like I was, I'm going to be 50 next month. So I can say I felt like I was 50, but I felt like I was older because I feel really good at almost 50.
Right.
But to put it another way, in my mind, if you asked me in those dark moments, and it was pretty much all dark moments leading, within those last couple of years, if I was going to make it to 30, it was like, probably not. you know? And so, you know, and it was everything. And eventually the heroin was sort of the thing that, oh, bing, the bell rang, you know. But looking back and having the experience to sort of reflect on and studying addiction for a long time and working with hundreds and hundreds of people, you know, I started looking at my own journey of, I was always reaching for something, you know, from the age of 14 or 15. You know, anytime I was doing something, it was always the most important thing. Well, we're going to go watch skateboard videos, but if there's not weed or beer there, then what are we doing? You know,
we watching skateboard videos.
And, you know, and then the other people weren't thinking like that. They were like, just happy to be there. We had a great day. We're tired. We skated. And now we're going to watch some videos. And I'm like, but who's got the weed? You know, and it was funny, which is great too. Like, I don't judge. Like I'm happy when people can enjoy what they enjoy. But it was like, there's that pattern for me. But it actually, I'm not saying that I realized this at 25.
No.
I was thinking that. I'm glad you went back to that. I'm like, dang, you are introspective.
No. I mean, I thankfully I was able to get my crap together and start, you know, realizing that was going to be the way that I was going to survive, and that I actually wanted to survive. You know, and so in the early days of recovery, that was a whole, you know, that could be a whole other topic of trying to get comfortable playing the music we were playing at that time without a net, you know. Oh, wow. And wondering and having this voice inside me, you're not going to be creative, you're not going to be able to improv, you're not going to be able to this and that, you know. So took that's a whole other, you know, again, like a whole other show. Right. But fortunately, it kind of I didn't believe that voice so much, and then it wasn't, you know, a few years in, I started realizing when people saw that I wasn't getting high and wasn't using, and I was in the music industry, which is very rare and bizarre. It's not as rare as you would think, but usually, you know, from the outside, you think it was rare. People would come up, well, you know, I have got this and I've got that. And I never would tell people. I didn't want to, you know, bum anybody's trip, or that's not what I was there. I was just kind of taking care, trying to stay on my side of the street. But I found that I did have, I don't know what it maybe just because I could listen to people or something, but I had a little bit of a knack for kind of talking to people and helping people out. And so when my, you know, time went on, and then when my son was young and the hips took a little bit of a hiatus, I went back to school to specifically study like addiction studies. And so that kind of came together, and then we started playing again, and I found ways to work. And then in that early part, I was like, well, how am I going to combine music and recovery? Because those are two things I felt really passionate about. And so I figured out, someone put my feet to the fire. A mentor was like, well, you got a group in 2 weeks, you better figure it out. And so that kind of was the impetus to me starting to do the like music recovery stuff.
Wow. You know, we talked to Anders Osborne a bit ago, and he mentioned, you know, just a little bit about his, you know, like how you can change yourself, or not even yourself, but like how you can change from that into this other thriving person. And I guess my question is like, what prompted you to go to the addiction, like to reach out like even further, like not just to stop, but like, now I'm going to go to school for this. Maybe the time was right, but what was the passion or the drive behind that to make you want to do that?
Well, I think the main thing, you know, I hadn't, someone asked me that kind of recently and made me I had to stop and think about it. But I do think it was a little bit of what I was saying is that before, is that I found that and the bottom line, it's as simple as I'm kind of good at listening to people. And what the main thing that I see when I meet with somebody, or it's, they just want to be heard. And maybe for years they weren't being heard, or they weren't afraid be heard or something, whatever it is. But I think that was part of it. Like, oh yeah, I can just kind of sit here and listen to people and not like make a bunch of comments or, I do that too, believe me. And so I think that was part of it. Like that, there was kind of a knack and that people, for whatever reason, kind of felt safe in telling me stuff. And I was like, oh, maybe I'm kind of good at this. So that kind of piqued my interest in going. And I also I always like to read about psychology and whether it was, fictional books that involved a lot of psychological detail or also, educational books. So that was another thing. I was fascinated about the mind and how it works. So I think those are kind of some of the things that got me down that road.
Wow. Well, you said something while you were talking just a minute ago. You said, I just didn't listen to that voice as much. And then you said, I guess I'm a good listener. And you're a musician for 30 plus years.
So you are a good listener.
So listening is a huge part of your communication in clearly multiple ways, not just with, listening to Tim and knowing when to play, or you're doing it everywhere. Is this something you're aware of?
I am now. Thank you.
Well, because you're like, I was going to say, well, how did you just not listen to that voice? You know what I mean? You're like, well, I just didn't listen that much anymore. But clearly
listening to your own voice a lot of times is harder than.
Yeah. Like clearly
outside.
there's something that you can do special with listening, whether it's turning it on or off. And it sounds like that's kind of like one of your superhuman strengths.
Superpowers.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I like that. I think that there's definitely something to that for sure.
Yeah.
So,
I was just curious. I was going to go talking about the musical therapy thing, because obviously you, us and everything, you use music as therapy in this. It amazes me how many people, it makes me sad when I come across somebody that doesn't have music in their life. And there's a lot of people out there, well, kind of like you said too, of people with addiction, especially, don't think about, like, a lot of people don't have family and best friends and stuff. They don't have somebody to listen. So I there's not really a question. Just kudos to you for introducing that music, because that's the first thing I do when I hear somebody, they're like, oh, I don't really like music. It's like, well, wait, hold on. Can we talk? Because there's got to be something, and usually you can find that in somebody, whether it goes back to childhood or whatever, and be like, okay, so your mom and dad used to have Elvis on in the background. You loved it. Well, start listening to Elvis again. Start sparking memories. Music is such an important thing in life. It's a lifesaver. I know it's saved mine and Aaron's life. I'm sure it has
it's given us a life. Not only has it saved it, but it's given us a life.
Talking to Greg.
Yeah. We none of us would be here without it. That's the truth of the matter.
I definitely would not be sitting here without it. No way, shape or form.
It's just on the heel. I think that's really awesome that a musician is offering music therapy to people that were addicted, something in your personally, and also something that you took the extra mile to learn more about. And that's super special, Greg. Like, it really is, like, for the whole of humanity, like, I know you've played to hundreds and thousands of people, but like, it's probably those 1 or 2, 20, 15 people that you've really worked on that makes a huge impact. So thank you just for that. 'Cause that's a rad, it's just awesome.
Thank you for saying that. And what Apple, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. What you were saying is about people like that say they don't like music. Well, for instance, if I'm doing the music group, and of course you're in I come into a group and it's a therapy setting and they're in residential treatment. Chances are they don't want to be there, or they're terrified that they're there. And one of the questions I might ask at the beginning is, how's music played a role in your life or something like that, And no, music's no big deal to me. Those are the people that are like end up at the end of the group playing a song for you and crying and saying, "This reminded me of my," hasn't been one person, the stodgiest, "Why am I here?" person. Everybody, music will. It's in everybody. It's
it infiltrates.
fascinating.
The frequencies don't lie, man. The frequencies don't lie.
And we can try it. Oh, no, I'm not. You know,
as the
and it's
hair
also
is
really
standing
cool
up on their
because
arm.
a lot of it, you know, we listen to a lot of different music, and I work with adolescents, and there's a lot of music that my old stodgy self would have judged, you know, but you're listening to it in a totally different context, and all of a sudden you find yourself crying. And no offense to anybody that I would say, but you find yourself crying to a Taylor Swift song or something.
Yeah.
You know, like something I mean, she's fabulously talented. I'm not saying, but something that I might not have ever listened to. And we're in a moment, and we're hearing it through this person's experience. And it's just like, it's so cool.
That's the best.
I was going to say, now I got something to say. This is going to segue into something we haven't talked about yet. One thing that's come up a lot and everything, and this, I'd listen to, this is segueing into your album, your solo album, but the duet, one group that has come up a lot with us talking to younger people, older people, and it's in one of the lyrics to the duet you did, Steely Dan.
Oh yeah.
That is something that constantly comes up, and that was we'll find out it's a huge part of so many. It was my childhood. My dad in the 70s, that was always on rotation and stuff, and it has come up so much like this year. Younger bands, older, and they kind of do it like, one of my favorites is Steely Dan. They kind of say it quietly, almost like it's like a secret thing. And then I heard it in the lyric this morning when I listened to the duet. It was just like, fucking Steely Dan, man. Everybody needs to listen.
And it's kind of polarized too. Do you guys know people that just, I hate Steely Dan. Can't stand Steely Dan.
Yes.
I have some good friends that will say that, you know, and everybody's got their own opinion and their own experience, and usually it has to do with like the first time you heard it or all the different things around it. Right. But yeah, for sure, you're right. I've been hearing a lot more about Steely Dan lately.
It's strange. Yeah. It's in the collective consciousness out there for some reason. The duet, that stuff that you did,
your solo stuff it's
so cool, man.
The duet's kind of doo-woppy. He kind of has that and stuff, and then your album is, thank you for, you really put yourself out there, like personal life sharing. I was playing San Felipe for Mel to hear.
That was
because I found somebody did a really good review of your album, kind of broke it down about what it was about more and stuff. And that was about like meeting your wife. Or falling in love with your wife when you're on a vacation, and then the one with the kid, like Close Your Eyes, will be there soon, is about traveling with the kids. This is a very personal look into your personal life that you're sharing here.
Yeah.
Is that
I think so, yeah.
Is that a 2020? Did you write that during all this? Is that part of this journey?
No. So the album came out in 2020 in May. So it's almost a year old. It's called Mystic Traces, and I recorded it in Ojai. And my friend Scott Hirsch, who's a fabulous recordist, and he's got his own records out, and he's been a part of His Golden Messenger for a real long time.
Okay,
he engineers and records most of that music, and was in the band for, you know, one of the founders of the band. We recorded that down in his studio in Ojai. Starting in 2018. So those songs were all pretty much written except for San Felipe, which was written a long time ago. And I had decided, I thought it would be really neat to have a duet on the album. And that I always imagined and sang that song like a duet. When it got to the female's part, I'd go up an octave, and, you know, and my wife would always laugh at me when I would do that. Like, Jesus, you know, you got to get someone else to sing that. I couldn't get her to sing it, although that would have been ideal. She would have been able to do it too, I think. But so those songs are all pretty special to me. And there's definitely some like personal things, and there's also, you know, just a little more out there kind of you know, moments of that aren't, that I don't have. There's some personal stuff, but there's also stuff on there that's just a little more free form. So I'm really happy with that album. I was hoping to tour for it, in between hip shows, and had a idea of a band that would be going out. I did a couple shows right at the beginning of the year. Alex Goford was with me. Scott was in the band. Brian Rashap, who plays bass with the Hips, was with me. Sean Nelson, who's a great drummer, who played on the other duet that we were talking about. Bound to Fall.
Right.
So I had quite a few friends that put out records last year, and we were all sort of like, wow, this is not how we expected it. But it was still well received, and I'm happy to have it out. It's my second solo album, and I'm proud of it. So
you should be.
One of the things that go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna. There's also there's kind of a tribute on there too, with Chamberlain's Trunk having Neil playing with you.
Yeah, Neil Casal played electric guitar and sang harmony on that song with me. He came into he was living in Ventura, and he was kind enough to come up and play that song. And then he played on the opening track, Shoot the Messenger. He plays electric slide guitar, and it's just some of the finest slide tone. He came in, he brought a guitar up, but didn't have a rig, and he plugged into my rig and my Fat Jimmy amp and my pedal board, and put some phaser on it on his telly, and just started playing a mix between Lowell George and Ry Cooder, just the perfect slide that I love, And we went into the room. Scott went into the room to adjust the microphone, and we couldn't tell from out there. He had it so loud, and it was just great. That's why he was getting. I mean, it's not why, but that was one of the reasons. That tone was just so great. So what a treat to have him on the record, and the fact that actually, when we got the news, we actually happened to be mixing the song that day.
No
way. That was just one of the many sort of devastating feelings throughout of that time,
Yeah. Us too. It was a hard hit, but the music on that album is it's amazing. And the thing that I love about it, like knowing the Mother Hip stuff and then putting that album on, I was like, oh, this is different. This is, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't more of the same. And like I said at the beginning of the conversation, that's the thing that gets me off about music, is when it's different and not everything. You can't call what the thing is going to be. It's just going to happen, and you don't know.
Grow up and change together.
Yeah, for really sure. Cool. And one thing, and I thought this is where you're going to go with it, is when you said the music and you mentioned the album, but we were in speaking about Neil, is like, how wonderful is it that doesn't go away? We're going to miss him, but his music gets to stay.
Yeah.
And we get to continue to hear all that beautiful music that he put out into the world. Or anybody who leaves, the music doesn't go with them, so we get to have that.
Yeah,
and that's an amazing thing.
Yeah, he was a special guy.
It is an amazing thing.
He made a indelible mark on me when we met him. Like, he just with a simple conversation kind of changed the course of where I was headed, just with a comment. Yeah, and it was a thing. Right.
But and then to go back to where you were talking about, I think that's one of the great things about being around for a long time, is that you keep finding these new little paths or branching out from the Mother Hips world, which Tim certainly did before I did, earlier in sort of in the late 90s. I think he had put out his first solo album. I didn't put anything out. I put like an EP out, the Purgatory EP in 2001. And there was some stuff I had done at home and some stuff that I had done with the old a guy who was in the band for a while, Paul Hoagland, and who produced the first couple albums, genius musician. And then I had a side project called Sensations. And as the time went on, the evolution of my own solo voice, as an artist, sort of has woven in and out of the Mother Hips thread, but to sort of become its own voice instead of, that's the other guy from the Mother Hips.
Right. Yeah. You may not know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask anyway. So,
Greg, you're not the other guy from Nothing.
No, you're
standalone, man.
For sure.
I know. Thank you.
So just wanted to remind you.
Yeah.
So you said that there's a new Mother Hips album coming out. It'll be the 11th album. And
11th full length album.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is right around the time that Hipmas will be happening.
Hipsmas.
So is there plans for a show at this point?
There are plans for those shows to go on. They're on the books, but we just nobody knows, right? Last year we went into the music hall and we did a live stream from the venue. With 4 people there, 2 were crew and 2 were people running the operation. Right. And maybe there were 6 people there, in the whole venue. So that was a very unique experience, but it was really cool that we were still able to, do the stream from the venue, and we didn't have to miss out on that, even though people couldn't come. So we're really hoping another event that's a big Mother Hips family event is Hypnic. So the Hypnic is a festival that happens in Big Sur, and I think this is the 12th one coming up, and it's usually in May. It's usually right around my birthday, and it's been always super special for everybody, and everybody has their own reasons. But for me, it's my family's there with me. It's my birthday. It's really great, and it's in Big Sur. So it's amazing. Yeah. So that is scheduled rather than in May, in September. So and that's outdoors at the Fernwood campgrounds, and there's usually tavern shows. The tavern shows probably won't happen this year. But so we have things to look forward to, but I think we've all learned that we got to be flexible, and just see whatever's the safest, best way to approach the situation. And if things have to go on hold again, then we'll make that happen. But, here's to hoping that
here's to more.
We start seeing some more live music from everybody.
When is your birthday? I'm May 26th.
Oh, May 18th.
May 18th. Okay.
I turned 50 this year too in November.
I'll be 52.
All right, man.
We made it, brother. We made it.
Yeah.
Shit. I didn't think it was going to happen. No. Oh, man. I really appreciate you, man. Thank you so much for hanging out with us, Greg. It's it's just cool to see you and to get to know you a little bit. And I know that the people that listen to this show are going to dig it. And
you know what I found, Greg, that's really rad that you're a part of? What No Simple Road has done is really taken the it's made each individual human. Like we were just joking, like, the other guy from Other Hips. Being able to interview like everybody in the band, either together or separately, or because they're doing a solo thing, or because the other ones weren't available or whatever, we've really been able to catalog some freaking amazing people and what they've done with their life. Like, music is probably maybe the biggest thing, but it's not everybody's only thing. And we've gotten to hear so many things, like your volunteering thing, or like, somebody's got a wine company, and it's just, like, for the music industry, I feel like this is kind of like an encyclopedia. Look up this person, look up what dope stuff they've done personally, and they were also a part of this thing too, And so thanks for standing alone and telling us who you are for everybody out there who might be just a Greg fan. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, that's a real thing. And so I appreciate that you spoke openly about addiction, about your mental health during COVID, like your kids. That's rad, and it's unusual. So thank you for doing that and being a part of the history of that.
Absolutely. And I appreciate the work you guys are doing, and I've been following along, and
thanks, man.
And it's awesome. And you guys are really easy to talk to. And so that makes it, I look forward to actually being able to do it in the same room.
Yes.
We'll go on for a couple hours for sure.
Yeah. We keep saying that. Well, and the one thing too, like, it's great to have you on, because our kind of hit list of the jam band community. There's so many of you guys crosses over so much. We've had so many of your friends on.
Oh, yeah.
And people you played with. And it's so cool to eventually catch up with everybody and get to be back celebrating and hugging and dancing and
cheering
sweating
each other on.
and being there in person.
Until then, man, take care.
All right,
Greg.
you guys. You guys. Thanks so much for having me.
Thank you.
Yeah, enjoy your family.
We'll break some bread soon, hopefully.
Yes, for sure.
Let's keep it in here. See if we can manifest it out there in the world.
Right on, Greg.
Yeah, man.
Thank you, man.
Take care,
All right.
brother. We'll talk soon.
Okay, thanks, guys.
What can I say? I'm so sorry. What can I do to make it okay? What can I say? You know I love you. What can I do to take your pain away? Whoa, 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 whoa. Footsteps coming down the hall, walking out the front door, spin away in the middle of the night. Will I see you again? What can I say? I'm so sorry. What can I do to make it okay? What can I say? You know I love you. What can I do to take your pain away? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Freight train run off the rails, blinded by my own light. You tried to steer me, but it was too late. Crash and burn in the middle of the night. We carried each other for so long. Love, because I let you down, but I love you so much in my heart and soul. If you should leave me, I'll surely die. What can I say? I'm so sorry. What can I do to make it okay? What can I say? You know I love you. What can I do to take your pain
Oh, that was a sweetie.
You never like.
First of all, he looks like a certain actor, and I can't remember what his name is right now.
He's reminded me of someone
many
since
people-
since last night and this morning, like listening to him and looking at pictures. He reminds me of, and his the album is even better. After talking to, he's like such a quiet.
I love his voice. It's his demeanor.
Yes,
it's his demeanor.
Yeah. Quiet's not the right word.
No,
he's not
definitely
quiet.
not quiet.
He's
calm.
Calming. And
He's
that
very
album's
calming.
calming. He's calming. He's like in control.
That's what I felt when you played that song,
San Felipe.
San Felipe. I felt like relaxed and
like you said, I should be kicking back in the hammock.
Exactly.
Wow.
Breathe. What a great guy.
Know when we schedule an interview, like I've seen pictures of them, almost every time. I've seen what they look like, or we know their music or their comedy or the book, whatever.
Or you can read several interviews,
right.
whatever.
But you never know what you're going to get when that screen comes on.
No,
Zoom
think
is
about
awesome.
This.
That's all I got to say.
But I think about this too. Like if there was a huge, like wildfires, like there was, that would have been what we were talking about. Do you know what I'm saying? Or if there was like some weird, crazy world shit, we'd talk about that. But like,
well, there is some weird, crazy world shit going on.
But what I'm saying is like each conversation is its own thing. And so depending on the day and the time of year and what's going on, we get to capture a little bit of that plus whoever they are.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a little present.
We're hearing this more and more. It is, I say the word, it's so flattering. It's honoring.
When they listen.
No, he listens to us. He was looking forward to talking to us. He was like prepared, ready to come on our show,
and he looked nice.
And looking forward to
man.
it.
We got to see his studio.
That means the world.
It does.
And not for nothing, but like Mother Hips fans.
It's like a cult following,
like
right?
Grateful Dead fans.
Yeah, it is like a cult following.
It's a thing, and I get it. Like that's after talking to him and Tim.
What about Billy?
Kramer?
Am I thinking of the wrong thing?
What about it? What about him?
I felt like they were connected.
They are.
Okay.
I don't remember how, but they are.
Did Billy not play with them for?
Maybe.
Okay.
There's something in there.
There's something in there.
Yeah, I'm with you, Mel.
I wanted to ask, but I forgot until just right now. And okay.
I also wanted to ask at one point, be like, I'm sorry to interrupt, Greg, but can you hear Darwin snoring on your end? Well, at one moment there, he's
dreaming. He's dreaming. He's twitching. He just barked.
Well, he doesn't. I was shaking his leg, and that.
Can you imagine like that kind of sleep? And he does it within like 30 seconds.
Yeah, he's out in the middle of a room with lights on everywhere, us talking, and he's just like.
That's
safety.
Like a kid.
That's what I was just going to say. That's safety. That's like when you're a kid.
He's in the safety nest completely.
And there's
circle
no
of trust.
Think about this. So when people ask me about like what my best idea of sleep is, right? Or like my memory of the best sleep ever is as a kid in the car, in the back seat, laying down in the back seat of the car.
Oh, okay.
At night on the way home from like a party or not, maybe not a party, or like a long day at the beach.
Or an amusement park.
Or an amusement park.
Or something like, yeah.
And you're fucking exhausted and
you're sugared out and you're crashing.
And you fall asleep. But like you're a kid, so there's no like, I have to go to work tomorrow.
Yeah, there's no impending thing the next day.
There's no like thoughts of anything. You're just like, mom's going to carry me in the house, or dad's going to carry me in the house when we get home. I just had the best day ever.
And you don't even think that. You just feel. You just know.
You just feel. Yeah, it's there. You're in that comfort.
Oh, that feels good to remember.
Where's that drug? Oh, no. You take this pill and you'll feel like you're cocooned in the back seat driving home from SeaWorld after a long day of funnel cake and fun.
I hate to tell you this, Apple. It's called meditation. That's the name of that drug. It's about as close as you're going to get as an adult. I don't know. All right. Well, there you have it.
Greg, you killed it.
Yeah,
Greg,
you killed
thanks,
it, Greg.
man.
Thank you for having us
Happy
into your
30th
studio.
anniversary and happy 50th
Happy 50th
anniversary.
birthday,
Yeah.
man.
It's his 50th
and
anniversary.
happy enjoying your family.
Yeah, man.
That is awesome. Mm-hmm. They're joining him singing. I love that part where he's like, and then I went and played a show, and everybody's like, "Where's
the band?
Where's the rest of the band?"
That's boring.
See, I like that he even called it out too. He's like, I don't want the live stream. And then next thing you know, live streams are great. They are great. It is what we need to do. We do have to evolve, but it's funny to hear from somebody who's like almost like obligated to do it. Like, I don't want to do that either. Okay, fine, I'll do it.
And then
find
like,
the good
and then
in
it's
it.
good.
And
yeah.
then they're like dressing up the studio. And
Well, remember Keller Williams? He said that too. He was like so excited that was his Friday night. That
he's
was his
still
thing
doing
to
it.
do, you know?
well, I
and
guess
so,
he's
And
playing
you know
shows
what?
now.
Musical therapy, no
Yeah.
matter how it's done.
Yeah.
Music is therapy.
That's true.
So there it
You can
is.
Listening,
pick
playing.
up a kazoo and go skip down the street by yourself, and that's going to be therapy. For
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Okay, that right there is
Kazoo.
definitely therapy. Anytime you
Down the
can't-
street.
a kazoo, you can't play a kazoo sad.
Uh-uh.
It doesn't work. Then it's still funny. No, that's
It'd be
funny.
like, oh, that's taps on a kazoo.
That's cute.
Oh,
All right, everybody out there, take care of each other.
hydrate,
Thanks for listening.
Safety third.
love one another.
Wear your seatbelt.
Plant something.
Wash your hands.
That's a good one, Apple.
Plant something.
Yeah.
And hug somebody that you don't have to 6 feet distance from. They probably need it.
Yeah.
Or your pet.
More than ever.
Yeah.
They do.
It's true, man. It's true. One of my coworkers, you guys know who he is. He, single guy, lonely guy through this whole COVID. And sometimes a hug really literally will just make someone's day.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's all I'm going to say.
Right? I agree. And don't forget that Jesus was an alien. We'll be back next week with more stuff and things, and we'll see you soon. We love you guys.
Peace.
I twist and turn the mission, turn and it's a journey. Wish the word is many problems, but it's a burden. Felonies has been deferred, and hell of me has been the earth. And alchemy can bring the birth, the melody of a newborn. So persistent, so resistant, so insistent, so committed, so resilient. Or haven't you learned it? More simple road. My windshield is shattered as I focus through the spot in the corner that is still intact. The react is both a defense mechanism as well as a fear. We've traveled this road before, so we may think, but it's a tad bit of strange similarities that feed an A=A complex. The fears of your past do not equal the perplexities of the current road.
Hey listeners, I want to tell you about the April-May 2023 issue of Relics magazine. Features a Dave Matthews Band cover story with additional articles and interviews with The National, Graham Nash, Wayne Shorter, ALO, Ivan Neville, our friend Eric Krasno and Stanton Moore, Marty Stewart, and much more. Check out the latest version of Relics and subscribe now at relics.com/DMB. Thanks, Relics.
Well, hey friends, my name is Zach Lupetin. You may know me from the band Dust Bowl Revival, but I also host a music discovery podcast called The Show on the Road. For the last 5 seasons, I've been able to dive deep and have intimate chats with folks like the Lumineers, Ani DeFranco, Wolfpack, Keb Mo, Lake Street Dive, Bela Fleck, and more. So guess what? After 150 conversations with some of my favorite songwriters from around the world, we are bringing brand new episodes to the Osiris Network. New interviews and intimate acoustic performances will be coming at you this summer. And which episodes are coming next, you ask?
I am Zach Goody, the lead singer for the band Smash Mouth.
Our band is called Milky Chance. We are based in Berlin.
My name is David Shaw. I sing and write songs with my band, The Revivalists.
Trust me, these conversations go some wild places. So subscribe to the Show on the Road on Osiris, and we'll see you soon.